Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? Maximus here. All right. So, not gonna waste too much time bullshitting around. Get shit set up real fast. Just want to double check a couple of things. So once I go live, there's a couple of things that normally act wacky. But hope everybody had a great weekend. I definitely had an interesting weekend this weekend. I could say that for sure. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a good time. I went to the Exotica Expo. So that was very interesting. Saw a lot of interesting shit there. Posted some shit on my IG page. King Maximus 2145 for those who want to follow me on my IG. So anyway, gonna get this shit rolling just a minute. I just wanna check it out real quick. Make sure I got all the screens up, all that good shit. Um, okay. I was playing with some things. I'm working on designing some logos and shit. So that being said, you'll be seeing things changing on this page as you move forward. Um, Good evening. Let's see how we doing here. Okay, and that's good. Bop, 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 bop. And I tell you, Facebook is always so slow to load shit up, though. It's very strange the way that works. Because I'll have it. Ah, there it goes. Now it's starting to show something. Now it's waking up. You know, definitely gonna be talking about some shit today. You see how I got my little banner and shit matching my shirt. Like I said, I'm fucking with some things on here. So, yeah. Let's see. Boom. And whenever you come on this, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on Facebook. I'm always posting up some shit. I do a lot of reels talking about quick little topics and all of that. So, it's a good time to be had by all. This thing never sets me as public, even though my entire page is public. But somehow, some way, every time I have to fight with this thing just to change it. And it's the most damned annoying thing because then when people try to share my shit, they can't because Facebook is hating on it. As it is, I can't even make my page into a professional mode page. I've been fighting with that for the longest. I don't know why. I'm almost at my maximum with friends, but whatever. Anyway, so boom, we gonna get this started. Kind of waiting to see who's pulling up. You pull up, say something, say hello. I am open to have somebody come on here and drop their 2 cents if they have something to say in regards to this topic. So you come on here, make sure you put on your Sunday best. Nah, I'm fucking around. But put on something, have clothes on. Just because the topic is about sex work, don't mean to be up on here naked. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that up on here because I need this shit to actually be able to be circulated all over the place, and can't do that if we playing games with shit like that. Anyway, I'm having a headache getting this thing started. If you can see this, say something. in the comment section. I just want to make sure that that this mic is on. I tested everything, of course, but you know. Ah, very nice. And there goes somebody saying something. How nice. Isn't this fortunate? All right, boom. So, hello there. I wish I could see because fucking tablets being stupid. But hey, what's up? Oh my God. I tell you, technology will fail you every single time you need it to work. So just keep that in mind. Never expect anything out of your tech. And everything was set up perfectly for like 20 minutes. And now when I'm live, the shit went act stupid. Anyway, as the show must go on, so shall we. So shall we. Hey Renata, what's up? Now I can see who the fuck is saying something to me because shit is acting dumb. Anyway, so the way we're gonna start this off, we're gonna jump in talking about how your boy Joe Smith got like totally sunned online, and social media world went kind of crazy about it. They all was like, "Oh my God, yo, like this guy straight up got cucked on camera by his wife." Like she tells him, well, actually, he finds out about the OnlyFans through somebody else. And then when he's confronting her about it, she decides to go and record this shit and then post it on her social media. Like, this shit is crazy. And this dude is straight up looking like a chump. And keep in mind, this is somebody who, you know, women always talk about men being a provider, being a protector, blah, 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 blah. Especially everybody always runs to the provider thing because they know acquiring money might not be easy for everybody to do. So it's an easy out or easy scapegoat to try to run to when you're saying, oh, but if you ain't providing this, don't talk that shit. Here's a man who provides this, but yet still his woman kind of played him out. You know what I'm saying? And the way this all started was apparently, well, according to I watched the interview with her, watched the interview with him because I wanted both sides of the story. Apparently, what happened was is that they were getting into financial straits. Apparently, bad financial decisions were made. Like many ball players and people that come from nothing, when they finally get some money, they spend it. They spend it recklessly, and next thing you know, boom, they right back where they started. Or I like to call it rich people broke because rich people broke and working class people broke is two different types of broke. They not working class people broke like us. You know, we go to work every day and we say we broke, then that means we probably kind of fucked up. But in this case, they're rich people broke, or at least they was getting in that direction. So she claimed that she was trying to come to him for solutions. He wasn't figuring nothing out. So she did what she does best. Because those that don't know, she has been in the sex work industry for many years. And that's actually when he met her. That's what she was doing. Of course, I haven't checked all her history to see when was the last time she was active, aside from OnlyFans. But the crazy thing of it is that apparently what happened is that she said, "Hey, well, listen, you couldn't figure out a solution, so I figured out a solution." Now, me personally, I kind of get it. I really kind of get it because my whole thing is that at the end of the day, if you want to survive, sometimes you gotta, you know, dig deep. I know other people got other perspectives on it. Now, my personal opinion is I don't really judge people based on the type of work that they do. I can't say that I wouldn't be with somebody because they were in the sex work industry, be it doing porn or whatever the fuck else. But I will say, you know, that kind of female or that kind of person, because this could be on the male side too, where the woman finds out her man's doing a bunch of shit or he was in the sex industry prior to marrying her or whatever the case may be. All of that could be possible as well. But getting back to this, you know, she claimed she was doing what she knew best, and she looks and says, "Hey, you knew what I was when you got with me." So it's crazy because clearly, I mean, I've seen interviews, dudes hitting on her, talking crazy to her, and all type of shit. My thing is, it's not about what you do; it's how you carry yourself. Like, if somebody, I don't care if my wife was a whole porn star. If you gonna talk crazy to my wife and my wife don't correct you, I'm coming for her and saying, yo, what the fuck was you doing? How you gonna let that slide? You're keying it up with them. Nah, you supposed to be like, nah, yo, you gonna chill on all that extra shit. I'm strictly business, I'm married, blah, 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 blah. That's how that should have been handled in that interview situation. As far as in anything else, before she made that decision, because when you're married, you're supposed to communicate with your partner when you're gonna do things like this. And granted, I respect that feel or need to survive mentality that you claim you want to have, which is why you did what you did. But the fact of the matter is that you can't just do things like that and not speak to your partner because that's just morally irresponsible. That's not right at all. Like, if you're going to come, like, if you want to say, listen, shit is rough out here. Oh, hey, shorty, I tell my wife, yo, listen, things is hard. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to come sling some of this sword so I can make these ends meet. If I come to her and tell her that first, and then I do that, it's up to her whether she wants to agree with it or whether it's gonna really happen. We'll have the conversation and figure that out. But end of the day, you can't just go ahead and do some shit like that because truthfully, the way that she's moving, I could see who wears the pants in that house. And clearly, it is not him because she's just putting him on camera without his permission, fucking letting other dudes talk to her crazy at interviews, opening an OnlyFans in the first place, and doing all types of personal massaging, I will say, for YouTube purposes, personal massaging and all of that stuff to entertain and earn money that's much needed for the household. You can't do shit like that. Now, the reason why I have this as the forefront of my topic is because then the impending question is do you feel like a person that is a sex worker or works in the sex industry can function in a normal relationship? Now, some people say yes, some people say no. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes to all of that stuff, I feel like a lot of times it's more of a matter of communication because if you at least tell somebody who you are and they say they're going to accept you for that and they marry you for that, then that's cool. Like me, I'll always rule my household with an iron fist. I don't give a fuck what she was doing prior to me being with her. I don't give a fuck if we are 5 months behind on God knows what. You need to holler at me before you making some fucking moves like this, or you gonna get the fuck out. That's just my personal way. I will never, I would never be in Joe Smith's position. Like, put me on camera, that phone would have been in a garbage can. Like, what are you doing? Because there's no way in hell that you could straight up tell me that you're gonna just let men talk to me crazy or talk to you crazy. Let dudes, everybody else knows about your OnlyFans or whatever avenue you choose to use, but I don't know. Oh, nah, that would never ever work. Now, see, I see a comment here, and it says if he's an alpha male, he ain't messing with a woman who that does one of those jobs. Hmm. I could say that could work on both sides. If you're really an alpha male, it doesn't matter what job your woman has, because at the end of the day, she knows to respect you, honor you, and put you first before any of these motherfuckers up on these streets. Whatever she getting her money at, if I met her and she was busting it open on IG or whatever when I met her, I'm not going to expect her to cut her livelihood off now because I'm with her. So in that aspect, I would look at it and say, I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't necessarily agree on that either, only because there's no way in hell, I don't care what my woman is doing, there's no way in hell that she gonna run over top of me, you know. But the thing is, and see, there's another comment that says, "But if she's for the streets, is she for you?" It depends. If we both run in the streets in different ways, and we make an agreement to understand you run the streets under this, as long as you have whatever agreement you have, as long as you operate within that agreement and stay within that zone, then there's no foul to be had here. You know, the only way somebody's a fail, the only way I would say somebody doesn't deserve a legit relationship per se is if they're the type of person who doesn't communicate the movements that they're doing with their partner. Or if you make an agreement with each other and that agreement is violated. You understand what I'm saying? Like me, I don't worry about stuff like that. Now, granted, I'm not necessarily out here trying to bag strippers either. I'm not. Like, that's not really my thing, but I mean, I don't even go to strip clubs, really, to tell you the truth. You know, but at the end of the day, if I did meet her and she was that type or did that type of work and she was open and honest about all of that shit with me, I'm not gonna knock her for the shit. I'm gonna be like, yo, as long as you operate within the rules of our dynamic, I have no argument with what you're doing. Get your money. But like I said, all of that, because I know this goddamn phone's gonna go off, all of that is contingent on how you're moving as a female. A lot of these females don't move right, and that's where the problem happens. Or they take a man for granted because he's kind. So they think he's soft and they try to take advantage of him, or they don't take him seriously. And then he's called a simp, a sucker, and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's kind of true because what else are you if you're allowing your woman to run over top of you? Now, if she's being deceitful and she's telling you one thing and doing another, that's not so much of a simp situation because that could happen to anybody. There's plenty of people sitting on this thing or gonna watch this thing later or whatever. I guarantee you, you've been cheated on and probably ain't know. To this day, you still ain't know how many times that person was in them streets because that's always the risk you run when you have relationships is that somebody might be playing games with you, somebody might not be playing games with you. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. Now, that being said, she also talked about how she has two separate body counts. That part interested me because I was like, she has her work body counts from when she used to do her porn, and then she has her body counts from her personal life. Now, I'm one of those that always, I know I've said this 1,000 times on this podcast about accountability. Ladies, your body count's your body count. Me personally, I don't judge by body counts. I don't care. As long as you're clean, that's the part that matters to me most. Because somebody can have three partners and have the dirtiest box ever, or have 35 and be clean as a whistle. It just depends on the decisions that she's been making. Okay, well, that's fair. And we say, Janessa said, as a woman, having a high body count ain't cute, regardless. I mean, like I said, I don't judge on body counts personally. Now, you being a woman, I can understand why you say that. Now, I feel like if a man is truly mature and a man secure in himself, he's not quite as concerned with how many bodies you got. My concern is, well, what kind of infections you got up inside your body? Because, like I said, you got to have three partners and had three dirty dick ass motherfuckers and have all types of shit floating around in you, while the woman that had 35 might have made better choices as far as the people she messed with, kept it safe and all that other stuff, and she's still clean as a whistle. And got a comment from YouTube. It says, if she's a sex worker, put $1. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. What he's saying is that if she's a sex worker, basically you're putting a monetary value on her body, which means that her body itself would go to the highest bidder. So that means a lot of times the way a lot of men feel about that is that if men see a woman as a sex worker, that means her sex has a monetary value to it. So therefore, whoever got the most money gets the box. So that means, okay, you getting it now because she like you got the right amount of cash. But if somebody with more money come around, she might give that box up to him because she's for sale. And that, I would say, has validity in some circles because there are a lot of women who operate for the highest bidder. And then there are a lot of women who don't. There are women who work in the sex industry who, outside of what they do for work, don't fuck around and do a lot of dumb shit. And they still move with respect inside the agreement that they made with their partner. See, but I will say this. See, now the argument on the other side was that there aren't a lot of secure men out here these days. So when your body count is high, the problem is, okay, but if I got a high ass body count and all these men are insecure, then what to do? And the fact of the matter is, it's a fuck situation. There's no easy answer to it. There's no whatever to it. I mean, a simple solution is don't fuck around so much, but depending on the kind of environment you run in, you might be more sexually active than others. Like those in a swing community are going to have a lot of sex partners because they're swinging and you're doing different things and all that other stuff. But I won't say that a woman, just because she's a swinger or she's a swingle because she's swinging as a single, doesn't mean that she doesn't have the right to be treated with a certain level of respect until she proves otherwise. If a man's judging her solely on her body count, not the content of her character, that's his character flaws, not hers. And it said that's how some men feel, which is going to make it harder for her to really find someone. I've seen that. And I mean, yeah, it is harder, but it's hard anyway. And see, she said, I've been in the LS since 2009, and I've only had sex with 5 men within it. And that's cool because some people, they find their little tribe or their little circle and they pretty much stick within that. They might hang out and go party and it's cool and it's cute, but they not really moving around like that. But the thing is, whether you have 5 partners or 50, like I said, as long as you keep certain things right and carry yourself with a certain level of respect, that man shouldn't have any more judgments for you other than to say, okay, let me see what the content of your character is. And I totally get that because there's nothing wrong with being a swingle, but not mingling with just everyone because shit, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. And men are supposed to, oh my God, there's some ass here, some ass there. We just supposed to go running around jumping on all of it. But don't do that. Well, at least I don't. I observe the right to definitely be selective. People that have seen me ever go to an event could definitely verify what I'm saying to say they've seen me standing there and talking to motherfuckers and chilling, but you ain't gonna just see me throwing around and humping around all over the place. Like, you know, you gotta pick and choose your movements, whether you be male or female. Now, see, this is coming from a man, so I'm gonna put this up. Now they say men value youth, fertility, purity, loyalty. And he's saying if shorty is for the streets, how can she be vows ready? Meaning, how can she be marriage ready? Well, it depends on what the terms are for the woman that you marry. If a woman that you're with can love and honor you based on what you're saying and what you agree to, because like I said, at the end of the day, this all comes down to communication. So, based on how you go back and forth and the agreements that you make, like I said, in any relationship, whether they're a sex worker or not, it all comes down to trust. Because honestly, a chick that never made a porn in her life, never got recorded doing anything in her life, and still be for the streets, and you never fucking know it. Because there's some women that are fucking ninjas out here. They are freaking special agents. These women carry themselves above and beyond reproach on the outside and on the inside. These chicks are really, really, really for the streets. So I would say everybody should get a fair shot to show you the content of their character, regardless of what it is that they're doing at the moment. Like, just because you're a sex worker doesn't mean okay you don't deserve any respect or that your pussy just for sale to every motherfucker here. Like that's not how it works. Sometimes a person's doing what they do because that's what they chose to do, and that's it. And that's fine because somebody's got to do it. The sex industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you want to make money, that's not a bad way to do it. And it's much better than selling drugs. So have at it. That's my personal opinion to it. And then she said, I don't know about anybody else, but I like the fact that I can go to these parties and folks like to know who I am because nobody got the tea on me. And you won't hear my name in the mix of 10 niggas that having guy talk. She picks and chooses how she rolls, and that's cool. You know, and listen. See, the thing is, it's almost mathematically impossible for the men to have a high body count and none of the women to have a high body count because who are they fucking if they're only into women to get their practice on? I'm just saying. As you said that you prefer a man with a high body count because you've been practicing to please you. I ain't mad at that, but like I said, how do you know if that person's really going to be hitting on shit for you? That's the point that you have to really put in your head. Now, with me, like I said, I think it's all about communication. I know I preach this all the time, but that's because Most relationships, I counsel people plenty of times. I'm telling you, one of the biggest problems in almost 99.9% of relationships is the failure to properly communicate with each other. Had Joe Smith and Keisha Chavez had properly communicated with each other, I guarantee you that whole thing would not have been a whole big deal. He probably, I mean, the kind of dude he is, he looks like a rollover guy anyway that would have just said, "Oh, okay, well, I mean, that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do." I could see him saying that. So, fact of the matter is being that he would say that, it is very easy to believe that she could have still did that and still maintain his pride and gave him his respect as a man instead of just getting up, going out here and doing whatever the fuck she felt like doing, because that's not cool. And you know, exactly. Like here we go again. It's like I think she deserves respect because all humans deserve respect, no matter if they're a sex worker or not. But how men proceed with you in a relationship is a whole other plot twist. Again, and this is coming from a man, so take heed to this mentality. Like me, I'm not the typical guy. My perspective is very evolved. Most men do not think like me when it comes to this stuff. I will keep it 100 with y'all. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to y'all ladies out here and make y'all think that these men are sitting up here thinking that it's okay for you to be out there busting it open for a piece of change. Because I can't front. There's even times when I say, I mean, goddamn, can you do something else? Like, can you come up with something original? I mean, at least these ones is getting paid. Let's talk about the ones that just be on IG or on Facebook, dropping reels and shit for no damn reason, just shaking their ass in the thing, or and I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of twerk energy because I mean, I like the look, I definitely do. But my whole thing is, it's like if that is your only trick, if you are a one trick pony where the only thing you have is the big ass you got and the nice titties that you have, as a man, we gonna have fun with you. We'll enjoy the show. We'll bust your ass and have a good old time with you. But don't expect us to take you serious unless you have some substance to go with them ass and titties that you're shaking all over the place. Because some people seem to think that you can just constantly just shake your ass and everything's gonna be okay and all this other stuff. Honestly, and this is just my personal perspective. Again, I don't judge in general. If you're doing a little something here, you post a little pic, you get a little sexy, that's cool. But there's some girls that do this shit every goddamn day. I'm scrolling my story, and every time I turn around, the same girl, ass all on the screen. I'm just like, damn, do you have anything else? Like, and this is where quality is really determined. It's in the content of who you are. You can do any job. And these girls that I see doing this, I don't think they work in the sex work industry. They just get a lot of likes or whatever, shaking their ass or whatever. Hopefully they eventually monetize the shit or whatever at least. But I mean, goddamn. Now, that being said, I will tell you this. Well, this is true, Nick. There are a lot of men who lack substance as well. But this is one mistake that happens in a lot of these conversations. I don't disagree with you because you're not wrong. But one thing that frustrates me in a lot of these conversations is that nobody ever focuses on the actual problem. Instead, they just displace the blame. So while we look and say, oh no, these women are doing this and this is kind of tacky and blah blah blah, and then somebody else goes, but men do it too. And what solution do we come to for that? You know, I will tell you, in most cases, men are leaders. Men are the ones that are supposed to set the tone in a lot of ways. But I will tell you, when it comes to, well, exactly, Nick, if you want to talk about accountability, accountability starts with looking in your own mirror and worrying about what's on your side of the river. Like, I'll look over here when I say something about the women, I'll say, yes, this is going on over here. Let's find a solution to this. Solution would be maybe focus on showing that you have some substance too. Like, you look on my Facebook, I'll post ratchet shit, I'll post funny shit, but I also post shit talking about shit actually having some substance to it. Like, my whole timeline is full of substance. You go down my history on my YouTube, Lord knows I got about maybe 1,000 hours worth of substance on that motherfucker. Like, I got substance all over the goddamn place. I got substance to fucking spare. But the thing is, I don't want to, and you're right, we shouldn't point fingers. But the thing is, well, I will say that about this before I even go to my point. There are a lot of people who lack substance. I won't even say just in the LS, just in general. A lot of people lack substance in general. And now the problem is in a community like the LS is that it's a very niche community, has a very small percentage of the population. So it feels a lot more intense because it's a much smaller diaspora than the overarching world where you could kind of spread that nonsense out some. Now, the truth of the matter is, some people aren't interested in substance when they come out to swing. And I see the YouTube comments. I'm going to hit those in a second. Now, my whole thing is that some people don't care for substance when they're in the swing community. See, I want to separate from talking about the LS because I know what you're talking about, Nick. You're talking about in the swing community. Because all of us have a habit of just saying LS, LS, LS. LS is a lot bigger than just swing. LS has a hell of a lot of shit under. LS is a large umbrella with a lot of sub parts underneath it. So I want to focus on the swing part because that's often where a lot of the issues lie. Because that's where a lot of the interactions and sexual connections and so on and so forth are made. And some people want to meet people with some substance. They want to talk, they want to get to know, and blah, blah, blah. Then there are others who want to come there and get to the fucking, straight to the fucking. No hesitations, no bullshit, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They just want to see if they into you. If they are, let's get it going. And that's it. And that's okay too. That's the beautiful thing about being a swinger or a swingle, because there's two designations. It's okay to move around like that. Now, let me say something. Now, I'm going to swing back around to Nick in a second. Now, this is the thing that was said here. He said, the thing is, as a man, I can figure a million and one ways to get money. Why does it have to be this line of work? Why not chef? Why not paralegal? Why not McDonald's, Chase, bank as a cashier? I get it. You know, it has to be your body. You lost your purity because they making something that's supposed to be special now. It's regular. Like a 9 to 5, shorty can cleans homes and makes a living versus shaking for some bacon. All right. So basically it's like, why choose this industry? But my counter to that would be, why not that industry? Because at the end of the day, somebody's got to do it. And just because somebody does it doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be loved on too. It doesn't mean that as a person, the content of their character means not to get involved with anybody. Like they don't deserve to have a love or have somebody that cares about them or whatever just because they chose this. Sometimes that's all they knew. Just like I agree. The same reason why people sell drugs, sometimes that's all you know. You might not know another way to get shit done because everybody is not, first of all, to be fair, everybody isn't multifaceted like that. A lot of people, they are good at this one thing. This is what they do. That's their job. That's how they make their money, and that's the end of it. They might find ways to turn that money into something else, but at the end of the day, that's how they make their money. There's nothing you can really do about that because at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they got to do to eat and right on with it. Because I'd rather them doing that than running around out here robbing motherfuckers, knocking motherfuckers over for some cash. Because there are definitely a lot worse ways to earn your paper. So I don't knock it. Like I said, I think the perspective here is very fair because that perspective represents a large percentage of men. A large percentage of men look at it that way. A lot of men want, I'm going to say it's about men. That's funny. A lot of men want their women to be freaks, but never had any practice in being one. It's like you want her to be born a sexual superstar, but not realizing that it takes practice and effort to get to that point. So you're not going to get to anything unless you're practicing at doing it. You're not going to be but so good at it. As a man that's dealt with women who are very green when it came to that, me personally, I don't really care for rookies because rookies aren't, I don't have the patience to be walking them through the basics. It's like I can teach you how to make me feel good, yes. But do I want to have to show you the whole thing from the ground up? Me personally, that's not for me. Now, for those that like that, right on with it. Because at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. So you're saying basically the only type of people that should be loved on, as far as sex workers, the only people that should love on them is other sex workers. I mean, that works and then that doesn't kind of work. Often people that work in the same industries don't really care to fuck with each other on long term circumstances. They'll fuck with each other as far as fucking around, and obviously if they're porn stars, they're gonna fuck each other anyway. But at the end of the day, they're not going to typically, it's just statistically, those people that work in the same industry don't end up marrying each other. People that are in relationships typically like to do different things because they want to have a life outside of seeing their partner every day. You don't want to come to the job and they go into the same damn job as you. Like, that's boring to a lot of couples. They want their separation from each other. So I would say it's probably best if they don't both work in the same industry. But they might fuck with each other. But if we're talking about long term relationships, typically that's not how that goes. Normally, it's the people who have um the people who work varying professions who deal with each other. Plus, somebody's schedule has to be a little bit more, flexible than the others. And if each person has these jobs where they're doing whatever they're doing, it could get a little tricky. So I'm just saying, typically that doesn't work. In the sex industry, I know there are some people that have gotten together from it. And then there are a lot of times one person's in the industry, the other person never been in it in their life. And they function perfectly fine. It's just a matter of what kind of person you are as to if you can tolerate that shit or not. Because everybody can't tolerate that. So that's something that you have to take into account whenever you're dealing with someone is what is it that you can handle versus what is it that they are doing. Because if what they're doing versus what you can handle aren't lining up, you have to make a decision as to how you want to move forward in that situation. And getting back to the other thing you said, Nick, because I remember you was saying something. I will say this again: when it comes to substance, I say good luck because a lot of people are shallow. A lot of people don't have a lot of depth to them. Once you scrap that surface layer, it's pretty fucking hollow underneath. That's how it is. You know, you have to understand that in any engagements, whether it be personal relationships, as far as being in a relationship with somebody, or whether you are just having a friendship, if you just having a little moment at a swingers party, you want to swing, you talking to somebody, but you want to feel them out a little bit before you decide you want to do, or you could be like how Janessa was, and she was basically she was on there she in the lifestyle she runs around. Well, I'll say in the swing lifestyle, she she limits who she messes with a lot. Like she definitely is not the type that's going to jump into a whole big mix and just start jumping all over the place. And that's fair. You have the right to move however you want to move, but the thing is, you shouldn't be judged by movements that you are making in a matter of when it comes to your earnings, getting back to the topic of sex work, you shouldn't be like what you do for a living should be separated from your personal. Now, a person has the right to judge you if you are a swinger and they aren't, and they look at you and think whatever way. It's not fair, but they have the right to have the feeling or judgment that they have for you. And my whole thing is that at the end of the day, so what? Let them judge. You live your life, you run your race. Because at the end of the day, it's your soul inside your body that you have to deal with, not them carrying your bricks. You have to carry your own. So there's no point in you worrying about what they're doing or what they're thinking. If you want a certain type of man, you have to move accordingly. If you want a certain type of woman, you have to move accordingly. Now, Nick said once you meet their representative and they can't keep up with the image anymore, it's like, wow, so this is the real you? Well, welcome to Earth. Welcome to reality. Because in this reality, that's the kind of shit that happens. It's not your fault if you misjudge somebody or you get misled. It happens to us all because at the end of the day, you're going to meet somebody's representative a lot of the time. Most people don't share themselves. Like me, I've shared a lot of my personal shit on this thing. If you go through all them shows I've done, I share a lot of my personal stuff. I share my personal feelings, and those that have met me know that this person that you see here is the person that you see when you meet me. I'm the same person. I talk the same shit, and I move the same way, and that's just who I am. And I normally got shades on because I'm always looking sleepy. But I will say this, and Nadine says something very valid too. She said, "You'll be judged in this judgment-free environment." Listen, that's called humanity. Again, with the judging, you're gonna get judged. The thing is, when you come into your own and realize who you are as a person, you're not gonna give two sugar frosted fucks what the fuck anybody says about you. You won't even need to worry about what they saying because it won't even matter because you know who you are, you know your value, you know what you're worth. So once you know that, can't nobody take that away from you. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It comes down to a simple mentality of if you don't like it, don't fucking look. Like, go over there. That's it. And you just go on by them like you never seen them. And I was comment these YouTube comments here. It said women like men with money and men like beautiful women. It's simple. Got he said she is done. She felt her lifestyle was in decline, so she went back to her ways. No, I mean, yeah, she did do that. She said, you know what? I'm struggling, or struggling according to them. So she looked and said, I ain't even going to tell Joe shit. I'm just going to go ahead and go back for what I know. That's not her being a sex worker is not where the problem is in that relationship, though. Her not having respect for her husband is where the problem is in that relationship. And shit like that is really problematic. Now, what is this next one? Yeah. And she did. She was like, she showed that she doesn't have a lot of loyalty and integrity. That's very true. Because at the end of the day, if she had integrity and she had loyalty, she would have spoke to her man and said, hey, this shit not cool. This don't rock for me. You gotta do better. Like, this isn't fair. You can't just go ahead and think you're gonna put this out here and everybody else in the world is looking at me and laughing and out in a butt of jokes. You got me looking stupid. Again, I can circle back to the other thing where me personally, I'm not gonna really give a fuck what people think. I never do, never will. I'm just gonna do what I do, either like it or love it, or don't, whatever. But my whole thing is, I get it because now his pride is being bruised as a man because his woman just, first of all, showed that he can't even keep the household in order after he's supposed to be some big time ball player and all this other stuff, that his money faltered, off of bad decisions. And now here he is having his woman busting it open on OnlyFans to make ends meet so she could keep up her lavish lifestyle. And, you know, the hustler and survivor in me understands it, but at the same time, there was a different way she could have went about doing it. So that's what I really feel about that. Now, Nick, you talking about the representative versus the facade. That's a whole other topic, but I'll touch on it a little bit since we're here. My thing is that, you know, a representative and a facade are actually synonyms. Like, one is kind of common to the other because the representative creates the facade that you're going to see. So it's not really a versus. It's more of the representative perpetuated the facade to make it look like whatever it is it's supposed to look like. And unfortunately, things like that happen. There's not much you can really do about it because some people are just not genuine. All you can do is do what you can to move the best you can for you and let everything else sort itself out because it's not your fault if something is moved in a way that isn't righteous to the kind of person that you are, or if you feel like something was violated for whatever reason, you just kind of gotta take that and just learn to roll with those punches and move on to other things. Once somebody shows you who they are, believe them. If you don't like it, you move on. If it's something you can work through, then you keep it. And that's more or less what you do in a situation like that. And you burnt your pizza? Oh, listen, I totally get it, Nadine. That's not right. You talking about you selling some games so you won't get got? Man, listen, motherfuckers will still get got. That's just how that shit goes. And Nick, pay attention to your food next time. You're supposed to set it on a timer. So pay attention to that. This way you don't burn your shit the next fucking time. Like me, my oven got a timer. If I turn that shit on, boom, it makes a little sound. I'll know that my shit is ready. So that's not my fault. Now you got to DoorDash some food and shit. But anyway, like I said, in life, people are going to do whatever they feel they need to do to survive. You know, now if you're going to choose to do sex work, understand that there are a lot of judgments. There are a lot of things that go with that. There are gonna be people that are not gonna want to fuck with you because that's what you chose to do. There are consequences whenever you do anything that doesn't follow the social norms. For all my people in the LS, y'all already know because you don't follow certain social norms, there are people who are gonna look at you sideways or say, "Oh, I don't know how you do that." Da, 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 da. And to them, I could say, "I don't know how you do that." Whatever, whatever. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to do what works for you. You have to make judgment based on what it is you feel you need to do for yourself. That's true. And exactly what I just said. Pay your bills. Who gives a fuck what they think? Because at the end of the day, I know I don't care what nobody thinks. I'm not doing sex work, but if I was, I would say, I don't give a damn what y'all think. I don't give a damn what motherfuckers think right now. I don't care. Say what you want. I guarantee you won't say it to my face. That's the reality of it. Is you're not gonna confront me and say anything. You're gonna whisper in the backgrounds in the shadows, you know, and that's just a thing that's going to happen. It's not anybody's fault. It's not your fault that they are like that. You have to do what works best for you. I'll put this up so little Nick can see it. Said to Nick comment, most people suck at reading. People have awareness of the type of people that are around them. People try to make people something that they are not and have a breakdown when in reality, you know, they are who they are. And they said the people who talk crap can be the ones who try to borrow. Ain't that the motherfucking truth? They'll talk all that shit about you. They'll talk all that shit about you. And then be like, yo, let me get $40. If that ain't some real motherfucking shit, I don't know what is. You know, and that's the truth. And it said the people who are, who change up on you and pretend whatever they was, those people are simply not for you. So if they're not for you, what you do is you pack your little emotional bag and you move on without them. Because at the end of the day, that's just the way that goes. You can't control what other people do. All you can control is what you do. You control your life and the things that you do in your life. If you want things to go a certain way, you have to control the narrative to make sure that those things function in that type of way. Because a lot of times, if you worry about what people are doing on the outside, they're going to judge you. That's just the way it is. They're going to look at you. You know what? Let them judge you while you drive off in your nice car, go to your nice house, and sit back and relax and chill. And that's true. A lot of sex workers are beautiful. I won't say most, because Nadine, them pictures versus them realities at that Exotica. There was a couple of times I was looking. I'm like, wait, because I don't really watch porn, so I'm not up on a lot of this stuff. But when I was looking, I was like, some of them was attractive. It was nice looking. And other ones, I was like, wait, but this is the picture and this is them. That's the picture. That's them. Which one is which? I don't know because one is looking really nice, and then the other one is the person walking and talking in front of me. So I get a little confused. And Nadine, I agree with you. I too love sex workers. I personally don't care to take um, to utilize them for myself. It's not my thing. I'm not even a porn watcher, like I said, but I feel like they have a place in our society too, and that they deserve respect, they deserve love, they deserve all the things that are entitled to all of us as long as we operate in a certain way. But that being said, and this is just that being said, there's a lot of things that have to move right if you're going to be in that industry. Like I said, if you're going to do some shit that your man don't know about, talk to him before you do it so he does know before everybody else does. Your partner should not be the last one to find out. That's where the disrespect comes in. And that's true. Sex workers are some of the realest people you'll ever meet. That's very true. Well, of course, Nadine, a lot of them are married with children because them chicks are fly. And dudes will get with them and then they start making babies. They get married. I knew what you meant, 9 out of 10. But my whole thing is they will get married, they will have children, they will also move on from that. If you're smart, because you know when it comes to the sex industry, it only lasts as long as your looks do. If you're smart, what you do is you if you feel that you want to use this sex industry to make you some money, make your money and then invest and do things that are outside of that. So this way when you're ready to walk out of that and move on to other things, now you can. And you'll have a solid earning situation, a nice residual coming to you where you can make money and not even have to do that shit so more anymore. Exactly. You can only do it for so long. And that's the key. You know, oh, I didn't see that comment. I'll have to scroll up. Give me a few. But here's the thing is that no matter what it is that you do, you have to realize that you have to realize that a lot of times there's no way that you're going to do anything forever when it comes to sex work, sports, whatever. Eventually, you're going to hit your expiration date. That's why you have to be smart with your shit. When you're getting a large amount of money, a lot of times those large money situations have burnout time. They have expiration dates. And you got to understand when you're getting that money, at least be smart enough to bank some of that shit. Because this way you can branch off into something else and you can reinvest so you can make more money doing another thing. Now, I want to read this comment real quick. Well, most women think their value comes from their vanity, and most men think their value comes from their success. Honestly, this is the wrong way to look at things, but this is the problem with society. That's a very, very, very valid statement because I mean, In truth, the way the sexual marketplace is set up these days, what a man's value is typically based on the resources he has or the things that he doesn't have, or the things that he has or the things that he um, has access to. Whatever he has access to, whatever resources he has, those are the things that give him the most value. And in the same aspect, we could say the same thing for women. It's about how she looks. Really, that is like her biggest marketplace value in this dating slash sexual marketplace. Let me see. Okay, so you can be a fetish. Older people do sex work. I mean, yeah, but that's like an exception to the rule, Nadine. The exception to the rule doesn't change the rule. In most cases, most people don't graduate from doing sex work to doing burlesque and old people fetish sex work. It just typically doesn't go that way, but I won't say that it's impossible for that to happen. And let's see what this is. We got a reply. Said, look at who sets these standards. Men are the ones who say women need to look a certain way. Women say men need to earn and hold status. It's true. We set the bar for each other and then complain about the bar that we set for each other. And to that, I say a lot of these bars that were set in a time that has long since been passed. We need to reevaluate this bar because back in the days when this bar was set, women couldn't really make any money, and it was really all on the men to earn. Now we have a society where, in a lot of cases, women are earning, and honestly, women's income is growing at a higher percentage than men's income is growing. So this whole the man's supposed to do to this and the women's supposed to do that is not really legit in the modern dating atmosphere because both of us equally can earn the same money. So why should it all fall on one person? That's stupid. Especially in a situation where as women started catching up to us men and earning, things also got equally as expensive. So in many cases, it's to the point where you kind of need each other just to keep things easier. Either that or work two or three jobs so that you're functioning like two or three people. Who the fuck wants to do that? I know I don't, even though I do. That's how I know I don't want to do it because I fucking do it now. It's not fun to be running around out here killing yourself. It's much easier to have a partner and y'all both work together to do whatever it is you need to do. It ain't about a 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. It ain't about that. We ain't going to split hairs on numbers because that's always determined and based on what your actual income is. And Nadine said it's a man's world. We just get to look cute in it. Yeah, as long as that man don't get accused of nothing, because it's very easy, especially in these days and times, because they're so busy overcompensating for all the things that men did do wrong to women back in the day. They overcompensate for it. But if you wipe your ass sideways next to a woman, next thing you know, you being accused of some kind of harassment, and they taking your whole legacy from you, and you weren't even proven guilty yet. So that man's world thing is still valid, but it's changing a lot. It's really changing a lot. And they says a successful man doesn't care about a lady's money, but the lady care about the man's money because she wants to feel comfortable. I will say this is true. Like me personally, I don't really care about what my woman is earning. I'm not interested in it that much. That's just my personal perspective. I'm more interested in what she brings to my life as far as her energy, her personality, what kind of comfort can she provide me, and so on and so forth. I'm not so much worried about how much money she putting in the bank. Now, granted, I will tell you the irony is when you have a successful energy, you tend to draw a lot of successful people to you. So for those that find themselves constantly drawing bum ass energy to them, I will tell you that often you draw what you attract. And you might want to change what you're attracting by, making some personal discoveries. It's going to take work because you're going to have to do an introspective into yourself to discover why is it that you keep running into this bum ass one here, that bum ass one there. Because I'll tell you, there's a lot of females that also bum ass this or bum ass that or whatever the case may be. And I do a really good job at avoiding them. So that being said, it's possible to avoid them. You just have to maybe change whatever it is that you're doing that keeps bringing you that same situation. Now, Nick says something, and she was like, it shouldn't fall on one person. However, I was raised a certain way, so I expect a man to, be the man of the house. But I've also learned from past experience that it's okay to help. I think we need to get out of this one income mentality because most people, even those living by themselves, aren't living off of one income. They got at least two jobs or a job and a side hustle or whatever the fuck it is that they're doing. That being said, all of this is proof positive that today's world wasn't meant for you to do it all by yourself. It was meant for you to seek help, receive that help, and utilize it, but utilize it properly. Now, let's see what this is. He said, I can't agree with that reply due to the fact that women waste the money. 80% of the buyer's market is women, and men still make more and are pushing themselves to compete with 20-year-olds who get BBLs, etc. And they want this for themselves because they're worried about looks versus being a potential wife, which is very fair because a lot of women, I mean, the beauty industry is a huge industry out here. Huge industry out here. Huge industry out here. But the thing is, women have always been the bigger shoppers than us. That's adequate. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing that they do. I will say, in general, men do make more than women, but it's more about who's sitting at the top of the tables. Who's sitting at the head of those tables. And for the most part, it's still men. What's up, Saul? Now, if you want to think about this, I want you to think about it like this. If we started to work together and stop with the bean counting, stop with the, oh, this one's making this one's making that. We all have jobs, or we all have some way of earning money, whatever that may be. Focus on making as much as you can and working together to make each other's life easier. Because, for example, I can lift a bed up by myself, but it's a fuck lot easier to lift that bed if I have another pair of hands helping me out. And that being said, the same thing can be said in you can apply that to anything in reality. No matter what it is that you set yourself to do, if you want to if you want to improve yourself, if you want to rise to that next level, none of us have ever done it by ourselves. Somebody gave us an opportunity, somebody worked with us, somebody opened the door, somebody helped out. So why do y'all feel in this world where everything clearly requires you can't make a baby by yourself? One of the most important things in this world to do is to create life. And you can't do that by yourself either. So why go so hard to do things that really would be way easier with multiple people with just one person? Why? For your pride, for your ego. So you could look and say, that's my man. Yeah, that's your man until he go down the block. Oh, that's my girl. Yeah, that's your girl till she go around the corner. Like I said, you have to find your space as to where you can make things as easy for yourself as possible. This going back to the sex work thing, yes, sex work does have a lot of tax breaks. I agree with that. I know men are paying for BBLs. That happens because they want their women to look a certain way. Hey, if he wants to pay for it, let him pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take no issue with that. So I would say, okay, well, that's fine. And yes, this is really about to go into something else. You know, now, because I'm going to talk about that actually. That's one of my next topics coming up. We're going to be talking about gender roles in modern dating and society. That's going to be my next topic up. You know, and I'll mention this last comment here. Said men are not saying get BBL or face surgery. They want to compete with young ladies because they want to feel young and beautiful. Hey, I mean, everybody wants to feel young and beautiful for as long as possible. I don't knock women for doing the surgery. If you have access to it and you can afford to do the shit, why not? You know, go for it because you should do what makes you happy. But what I will say is you have to understand that it's okay to spend the money to do the sex work, whatever it is you want to do. Like if you're getting a BBL because you know once you get that, your body's going to be in a position where it's going to be like, oh shit, yo, everybody checking for me. But I do agree, men aren't really. I'm not pushing women to get BBL. I always say your best bet is to go to the gym and work it out. If you got a problem with the way your body looks, then do something about it. That's not pushing. I don't think men, I do disagree with that. I don't think men are pushing women to get BBL. I think society's standards of what beauty is and its temptation onto an individual are the things that push a woman to get something like a BBL. You know, so I think that was a little displaced, but for now, it is what it is. But I'm gonna say this just to wrap this up because I've been on this long enough. At the end of the day, we have people who get into the sex work industry and they do whatever it is that they do. It's okay. There's no problem with that. If you're going to get into the industry, or if you're going to open up an OnlyFans, you're going to do anything you're going to do. If you are in a relationship, your partner has the right to know because it's not fair to do something that affects them in some way, shape, or form and keep them in the dark. That's disrespect. Disrespect will be the quick reason to get me to kick you the fuck up out my door. No hesitation, no thought process, no nothing. Oh, you disrespectful? All right, boom, hit the door. Now, a lot of people also seem to have problems. There's a lot of things that go into this. Like I said, the subtopic on this of who's supposed to make the money and all this other stuff. Like I said, I'm going to touch on this on next week, 9 o'clock, when I do this again. But as far as the sex work thing goes, I feel like there's no judgment to be had from me. But do understand that many others will judge you. So if you want to get into sex work, I strongly suggest that after you've cleared it with your partner, if you have one, yes, you have to clear it with them. Once you get that done, make sure that you build yourself up strong because all the fingers of judgment that ain't out there paying your bills are gonna worry about you. Worry about what you doing, live your life, run your race, and make sure that you have proper communication with your partner and everything else will work itself out. Anyway, I'm out of here. So I'll catch y'all next week, 9 o'clock. Like, share, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, give me a follow because I need these followers up on this Facebook shit big time. YouTube, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Share it on Facebook. Share, and share alike. Let's get this shit out here. I need to get these numbers up. So I need y'all to come at me and show me that love. You know what I'm saying? It's free to click a button. Won't hurt you. And click the like button. Share it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take time to do research for this stuff so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I appreciate those that come on here and contribute. Anyway, I will holler at y'all. It's been real. Until next week, peace out.